6 signs that you are closer to success than you think. Have you ever felt like you're putting in all the effort but getting nowhere, like success is just out of reach? What if I told you that you might be much closer than you think? Success doesn't always come with fireworks or grand celebrations. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs happen in silence. Today, I'm going to share with you 6 powerful signs that prove you are on the verge of success, even if it doesn't feel like it. By the end of this video, you'll see your journey in a whole new light. Let's dive in. Have you ever felt like life just keeps throwing challenges at you one after another? Like the moment you solve one problem, 3 more show up? Maybe you're working harder than ever, yet the results just aren't there. Maybe you've hit roadblocks that make you question whether it's even worth it. But let me tell you something. This isn't the end of your journey. In fact, it's proof that you're on the right path. Think of a bow and arrow. Before the arrow soars forward, the bow has to be pulled back. The tension, the resistance, it all builds up before the release. And the farther it's pulled back, the farther it flies. This is where you are right now. You're in that moment of tension, that resistance, that struggle. It's not pushing you back to break you. It's setting you up for a breakthrough. Every person who's ever achieved greatness has faced this moment. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job and told she wasn't fit for TV. Can you imagine that? Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential women in the world, was once told she wasn't good enough. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 different publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Elon Musk, he was nearly bankrupt before Tesla became the powerhouse it is today. And guess what? None of them gave up when things got tough. They pushed through. So if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or like success is further away than ever, know this. You're not being tested to fail, you're being prepared to rise. Maybe you're in a phase where you're questioning everything, your career, your purpose, your abilities. You start asking, is this really the right path? Am I good enough? Should I just give up? If that's happening, let me tell you something powerful. This isn't a setback, it's a breakthrough in disguise. Think about Steve Jobs. He was fired from his own company, the company he built. Can you imagine how that must have felt? But instead of giving up, he used that time to learn, grow, and come back stronger. When he returned, he revolutionized Apple into what it is today. So if you're doubting yourself, don't see it as a failure, see it as a transformation. Self-doubt isn't a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you're evolving. The only people who never question themselves are the ones who never grow. Ask yourself this. Have you ever faced something tough in the past and come out stronger? What if this is just another one of those moments? It's easy to feel like you're the only one struggling. You scroll through social media, and it looks like everyone else has their life together. But let me tell you a secret. They don't. Every person you admire has faced moments of doubt, rejection, and failure. But you don't always see that part. You just see their success. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he had $7 in his pocket when his football career ended. Now he's one of the biggest names in Hollywood. Ariana Huffington, rejected 36 times before starting the Huffington Post. Even Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school team. They all felt alone at some point. They all faced failure, and yet they kept going. So if you feel like you're struggling alone, remember, you are not alone. The truth is, success isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up. It's about pushing forward when every part of you wants to quit. So, let me ask you, what's your next move? Are you going to let challenges break you? Or are you going to let them build you? Because the people who make it in life, the ones who achieve their dreams, aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. So keep going, keep fighting, keep believing in yourself. Because one day you'll look back at this moment, the struggles, the doubts, the setbacks, and realize it was the chapter that made you unstoppable. And when that day comes, you'll be grateful you never gave up. So if you're struggling right now, if life feels impossible, just remember this, you are not alone. You are not failing, you are growing. Take one step, just one, and then another, because your breakthrough, it's closer than you think. Now go chase it. You're seeing small wins. Success isn't about one big moment. It's not about that single breakthrough or a massive overnight change. It's about the small wins, the tiny, consistent steps forward that add up over time. Think about it. Have you ever tried to get in shape? You don't wake up one day with a six-pack just because you went to the gym once. But maybe after a few weeks of effort, you notice you're lifting heavier, running longer, or just feeling better overall. That's progress. Maybe you've picked up a new skill at work, had a great conversation that opened doors, or finally figured out something that used to confuse you. These aren't just random events. They're signs, clear evidence that you're moving in the right direction. The key is to notice these small wins, to celebrate them, because they keep you going. Every great athlete, entrepreneur, or artist will tell you it wasn't just one moment that made them successful. It was the little wins that built their confidence, sharpened their skills, and kept them pushing forward. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. Robert Collier. Think of Thomas Edison. He didn't invent the light bulb overnight. It took him thousands of attempts. But every failed experiment taught him something. Each one was a small step forward, leading to that final breakthrough. So take a moment to reflect. What's one small win you've had recently? Maybe you stuck to a habit for a week, handled a tough situation with more patience, or simply got out of bed on a hard day. That matters. Recognize it, because small wins add up to big success. You're outgrowing old habits and relationships. Change isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, subtle. You start noticing that certain conversations drain you, that some habits no longer feel good, that places and people you once felt connected to now feel like they're holding you back. That's not random. That's growth. Think about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Before he became a Hollywood legend and a world-class bodybuilder, he had to leave behind his small Austrian hometown. He knew that if he stayed, he'd never reach his full potential. So he took a risk. He changed his environment. He surrounded himself with people who pushed him, challenged him, and inspired him. And that decision changed everything. But let's bring it closer to home. Have you ever felt like you were outgrowing certain friendships? Maybe you once bonded over complaining, but now you're focused on solutions. Maybe you used to procrastinate together, but now you want to be productive. It doesn't mean you don't care about those people. It just means you're evolving, and growth isn't comfortable. It's messy, it's hard, but it's necessary. Because every time you let go of something that no longer serves you, you make space for something better. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to that's keeping you stuck? Is it a habit, a belief, or a relationship? And what would happen if you finally let it go? Because the truth is, your future self is waiting, and they need you to step up, to move forward, to trust the process. The journey to success isn't about overnight transformations. It's about recognizing the small wins, embracing change, and having the courage to step into who you're meant to be. So today, celebrate one small win. Identify one thing you're ready to outgrow and take one step forward, because that's how real success happens. One small, powerful step at a time. You're becoming more resilient. Have you ever noticed how things that used to break you don't hit as hard anymore? Maybe it's a tough conversation, a failed attempt, or a dream that felt out of reach. But now, you take a deep breath, shake it off, and keep moving. Think about a time when a setback felt like the end of the world. Maybe you lost a job, failed a test, or had your heart broken. Back then, it felt unbearable. But look at you now. Those same struggles, they're just bumps in the road. You don't crumble, you adapt. You don't break, you build. This is resilience. It's not about avoiding failure or never feeling pain. It's about how fast you get back up. It's about refusing to let struggles define you. And every time you rise, you're proving to yourself just how strong you are. It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. Vince Lombardi. Picture a boxer in the ring. They take a hit, maybe even hit the mat, but they rise again and again. That's you. Every obstacle, every challenge, it's shaping you into someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives. So, if you're handling setbacks better than before, congratulations. That's your inner strength kicking in. And that means you're almost there. You feel like giving up. This might be the biggest sign of all. That feeling of wanting to quit, that overwhelming exhaustion, the frustration, the doubts, it's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're closer than ever. Think about this. Right before the biggest breakthroughs, most people feel like giving up. Why? Because they're just inches away from success. It's like climbing a mountain. Right before reaching the peak, the climb is the steepest, the air is the thinnest, and every step feels impossible. But if you stop now, you'll never see the view from the top. Thomas Edison failed 1,000,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Imagine if he had stopped at 9,999. We wouldn't have the invention that literally changed the world. How many people quit just before their breakthrough? How many times have you walked away only to later realize how close you were? Your exhaustion, your doubts, your struggles. They're not proof that you should stop. They're proof that you're almost there. So dig deep. Take a breath. Push forward. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You are stronger than you think, more capable than you realize, and closer than you believe. So whatever you do, don't quit now. Keep going. Your breakthrough is waiting. Have you ever felt like you're running a race with no finish line in sight? Like you're putting in all this effort, but nothing seems to be moving forward? If you've ever had moments where you question whether it was all worth it, listen closely. Because what you're feeling right now, that struggle, that uncertainty, it's not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're getting closer. Think about it. How many times have you heard stories of people who were about to give up only to have their breakthrough moments later? Maybe it's an entrepreneur who was drowning in rejection but landed a life-changing opportunity at the last moment. Or an athlete who trained for years, battling self-doubt only to achieve victory when they least expected it. Their struggles weren't roadblocks. They were stepping stones. And maybe you're thinking, but my journey isn't like theirs. I didn't have that kind of luck. But here's the truth. Success isn't about luck. It's about resilience. Every doubt you've had, that's your mind pushing you to prepare. Every struggle, that's your strength being tested. Every little win, no matter how small, is building momentum that you don't even realize yet. Ask yourself, how many times have you overcome something you once thought was impossible? How many times did you think, I can't do this, but you did? If you've already defied your own doubts before, what makes you think you can't do it again? You might not see it yet, but you are closer than you think. The connections you're making, the skills you're building, the mindset you're shaping, it's all coming together piece by piece. The moment of doubt you're feeling right now, that's the moment before the breakthrough. So, what do you do now? You keep going, even when it's tough, even when progress feels invisible, even when the voice in your head tells you it's not worth it. Because that's exactly when you need to push the hardest. The moment you're ready to quit is usually the moment right before the miracle happens. Don't give up.